What is going on, everyone? Give It Thought back here today for another No Man's Sky discussion video. And while we wait on the patch notes for the newest patch, 1.04 if I remember correctly, I just wanted to talk about ways that Hello Games may improve No Man's Sky in the future, and then some other ways they just missed out on making a better game. And I know what the more cynical crowd is thinking when I say this, which is basically, oh, they made a flawed game from the start and it can't really be improved, but I think it can, or could have been. If anyone out there has played No Man's Sky, then they have to see the amazing potential within it, and it's just a shame that this game didn't launch with some of these features. And in this short list, I ignored multiplayer and some other features Sean Murray promised from the start, so don't worry about me repeating those. And just a quick note, I went in order of which features I wanted to see, with the final one being my most wanted. Alright, with that out of the way, let's get started with number 5. And that is more variety in the crafting system. If any of you watched my review on No Man's Sky, you will have heard my complaints about the crafting system already. But if I am in danger of repeating myself, just bear with me. The crafting system is, well, uninspired. It's just basically the same stuff over and over again. When you upgrade your bolt caster per se, there's not really many directions you can go in. Sure, there's the rapid fire module, or the shotgun blast type upgrade. But other than that, there's really not that much variety. Something I thought was really overlooked was something as simple as a color palette change. I feel like you should be able to customize the color of your mining beam or your bullets at least, but there's really none of that in there. But that's just one example. Going back to the ammo types, it would be great if you could get a sniper rifle type weapon, something with a lot more range. And this is something that could be easily fixed with free patches, sort of like how Minecraft does it. It would be great if we could see patch notes where it shows that sniper rifles were added to the game, but all my suggestions are just limited to the multi-tool. Imagine all the cool upgrades you could do for your exosuit or even ship. The options are really unlimited and are based on how creative Hello Games could be with their upgrade system. But I think that's where I'm going to end number 5. So moving on to number 4 is something similar to this, and it kind of pertains to the crafting system, but it is enough to warrant a different number, and that is a better material tagging system. I know in the game there is a feature that lets you tag materials and helps you find them, but it is really limited. I would love something akin to the beginning of the game where you have to find Heridium to fix your starship. You would go in, tag your element, and it would scan pretty much the entire planet to help you on your way. Now of course this would still not be perfect, as it would probably pick something up pretty far away from you, but once you have your ship it's not really that big of a deal. And this could also be implemented into those things that require bypass chips to find shelters or drop pods, and you could select your needed element to find, and then it would search it out for you. This would be really handy, especially at the beginning of the game when you don't really know where elements are yet. I remember when I first started and I didn't know Thamium 9 could be mined from asteroids very easily. So I was walking around whole planets looking for those little plants. And if the game had this feature, and it would just lead you to outer space where you could find all the Thamium 9 you could ever need. I don't know, it's just a small tweak that could really help out a lot of players, I think. And it, like number 5, is also something that could be easily put into the game with a patch. But with that, let's move on to number 3. And from here on, the list deviates from the easily patched features that I would like. The remaining 3 are features that maybe should have been in the game from the start. But number 3 is side quests. Alright, now we're getting into the good stuff. Side quests to me are something that is so obviously missing from this game that it's not even funny. It would be so easily implemented into the base game through the space stations that I cannot imagine why they didn't do it in the first place. It would be so easy to approach an alien ship and request work, and they could send you out on a little fetch quest or something. Something interesting to me would be a nice rescue mission. Now, the closest thing we get to this are the crashed alien spaceships that we have to seek out, but other than that, there's really nothing there in the form of side quests. And it would be a great implementation to the final game. It would also be an opportunity to humanize the aliens. Right now, the aliens are just the blandest NPCs ever. And if you don't have the words to communicate with them, it really can seem pretty dull. But if they gave you side quests, through an interpreter maybe, it would be really cool and a way to show that they care about their fellow aliens. Or the Gek race could give you a side quest to destroy an alien village. That would be really cool and something that would be so simple to implement. And again, I just don't see why they didn't do it. Another obvious side quest route for me would be for the Korvax to send you out in search of ancient knowledge, or old technological artifacts. It's just so disappointing because it's all right there in front of us, but we can't do it. But with that, let's have a look at number 2, and that is a class-based progression system. Now this would be fantastic if implemented into No Man's Sky, because you could follow the progression route of something like a miner, a pirate, or an explorer, or maybe even a trader. There's so many opportunities, and it could be implemented just like Fallout 4's perk system, or something like Borderlands skill trees. Something like the pirate class, for example, could give you more damage on enemy ships, and maybe give you more resources on attacking cargo ships. It's just little things like that that could hook players into No Man's Sky more than the base game can. It would give your character a personality, which is something that is really lacking from this game. It requires a lot of role playing, and I don't think many players this day and age are into that kind of thing. I understand they are to an extent, but when given such a complete blank slate, there's really nowhere to start. Think about one of the Zelda games, for instance. The character is a complete blank slate, but you do have a sword and you do know where you're going, kind of. So in a role-playing sense, you have a jumping off point. But that is simply not the case in this game. If you had a preordained path to follow that is not one of those boring 3 paths that are already given to you, the game could find purpose where it has none right now. And I think players would enjoy that a lot. And becoming a space pirate is something that most games don't really do. And if they do, you certainly don't have the freedom like you do in No Man's Sky. But finishing up number 2, let's finally move on to my last way to improve No Man's Sky, and that is a home base or customizable ship. This is the big one for me. I honestly thought this was going to be included in the final game, but all we have is the option of upgrading our ship by purchasing another alien ship. I wish that you could actually get up and walk around in your ship and maybe personalize it to your own liking. A way to do this would be to have a mothership where you can have all your stuff and then to shoot off your little ship to go explore other planets. And the mothership would actually function as your home base. In interviews, Sean Murray has said that he wants to add home bases to the game, but it's hard to trust him at his word, so I don't know if we'll ever see this or not. But when it comes to actual paid DLC, it would be something I would be willing to pay for. But also on your ship, another thing that I would love, that I'm just going to mention as a side note, would be a virtual farm. It would be so cool to capture a bunch of alien species and place them in your virtual farm to produce elements for you. It would be really simple and wouldn't have to be too complicated. I'm not looking for a whole virtual world where you go and look at your little creatures, just a basic menu where you could pick up extra elements that they produce. I don't know, those were just some thoughts. And I know I missed some things like the storyline or better combat, but I think I'm going to leave those for another video. And speaking of another video, I think that's where I'm going to end things today. If you enjoyed this video, why not subscribe? Just click the annotation in the upper left corner and you'll be taken right to my channel where you can do just that. And also, if you missed my No Man's Sky review by chance, why not check it out? Just click the video annotation. And as always, for everything I've mentioned, there are links in the description down below. Alright everyone, I think that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, give thought to everything.